You're going to hear us talking a fair bit about tendons tonight, and not just because these two are genuinely two of the top tendon guys in the world at the moment, but obviously in triathlon it's a massively big issue. Is there anyone in here who's never had a tendon problem as a triathlete? One. Okay. Two types of triathletes, those who are going to have them and those who've had them. So yeah, so you're the former. No, and listen, hopefully picking up a few things here, some prevention stuff you can do, but frighteningly I've been around in this game almost 20 years now, and tendons is probably one of the things that has changed the way we manage them more than anything in the 20 years for me. And as well as being here to help you guys to enjoy your triathlon experience more, we're here to promote what we do well. And we unfortunately see people again and again who have either been given the wrong diagnosis or have been given the wrong treatment. And the stuff that James mentioned at the end there, don't stretch, don't do these sort of things. When I graduated 20 years ago, that's how we treated tendons. We rested them, we stretched them, and we hit them with anti-inflammatories no matter what stage of tendon it was. That was what we thought was right. We treated muscles with anti-inflammatories as well there. And there's still quite a few doctors around, quite a few physios around who haven't kept up with the latest research there and are still giving people information which isn't the best information they can get. I'm not going to say it's the wrong information, and the interesting thing with research is sometimes things change a bit further as things go on there. But one thing probably in the last 20 years is we've got much better at doing research. And the sort of research we're talking about now with tendons that these guys are heavily involved in it's good, solid stuff. So I don't think we're going to be changing too much away from this basic tact. We're probably just going to refine it better. We'll have better numbers, more accurate things. So this is exactly what you do, but it's still going to be individual. So get the right diagnosis and get it early is the key. Now, you'll probably pick up fairly quickly that I'm not an academic, and you'll pick up that because my slides are really basic. There's no fancy stuff that comes up and down. Listen, we're going to talk about cycling. I'm happy to field questions about cycling, about triathlon, some differences between road cycling and triathlon and time trialling, some good things and bad things. Now, what I thought I'd touch on first of all is bike fitting. Now, it's what I spend most of my days doing at the moment, and there's a lot of different systems around, and many of you have probably experienced a few different ones. What's really, really important to understand is that they're nearly all based around a few basic principles. There's not a lot of good science in bike fitting, but we do understand that the interesting thing, a lot of the science that's in bike fitting has actually come back to front. They've gone out to the Tour de France, they've measured everything up, averaged it out and gone, this is where you should ride. Now, one of the dangers with that is, unfortunately, not all of us are built like Tour de France riders. We don't have the flexibility of Tour de France riders. We don't get off the bike and lay down, have a massage, do a stretch session, rehydrate, eat well, have a sleep in the middle of the day and get on and ride again there. So always take it with a little bit of a pinch of salt that the parameters that we can potentially be set up in can be too narrow for some people. Some of the systems I've got a few concerns with. There's some errors that can be fed into a machine, and if you've got someone who's experienced and understands those errors and knows what to look for, they'll pick up that error on the way out. But certainly some of the errors that can go in, and then a reasonably narrow parameter on the way out that some of these machines flash red at you if you're not within that parameter, you can sometimes be in a position that's not ideal. And we unfortunately see too regularly people who are injured from bike fits and aren't right. And when I talk about bike fitting and why I think it's so important is that different to running, different to swimming, where if you've got issues going on, you can run around them, you can change your stride length, you can change your foot width. Swimming, you can change your stroke technique and that. One of the classic things is if a coach then comes in and tries to correct that, and you've got a dysfunction or a stiffness, that's why you're doing it. That's when we see good injuries. We love coaches and for helping us out with some of that stuff. And no disrespect, there's some great coaches around who understand this as well. But the thing about cycling is you're attached to the bike in five places. In triathlon, arguably in 7 with the elbows and the hands separately there. Your feet are attached, your bum's attached, so you really, where you move is a function of where the bike's set up there. So if it's not in a good position and you repeat it 80 or 90 or 100 times a minute for 3 hours or so for a half Ironman, longer for a full Ironman, you can repeat bad stuff really, really regularly. And we've seen some nasty injuries from it there. And And I'm certainly not here to say that one of these systems is better than the other or anything, but the real key there is the fitter, their qualifications and experience and understanding of what you're trying to do there. And I think the other thing that is important for us as physios and when it comes to fitting is if you're getting a fit because you've got an injury or pain, you need someone who understands pain and pathology and injuries before you can go into that sort of process. And I've got more stories than I can talk about people who've had multiple fits and they've just missed the absolute key to why they keep getting sore with the same problem here. And listen, there's a few people around who know what they're doing there, but that's really, really important.